Hey everybody, and welcome to another RCT2 review. We're continuing our series going through the head-to-head 10 contest parks, and we have now reached the final park of regular season play. This is the Lonely Hearts Club Chateau Frontenac. This was built by Amusement Parker, 55%, Rob DDD, 25%, Mama Rias at 10%, and Sammy at 10% as well. I've got it paused here because there's a nice little intro here, so let's unpause it and have a listen.
Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for choosing Canadian Pacific Railways, where we offer the finest vacation experiences in all of Canada with our vast network of beautiful hotels. Today, we are welcoming you to the Chateau Frontenac, the finest hotel in all of Canada, with beautiful views of the surrounding wilderness and a cute, idyllic French-Canadian town right over the bridge. Thus, we hope you enjoy your stay and thank you very much for your business. Goodbye and au revoir.
Nice. What a wonderful opening to what I would say is probably some of the best atmosphere of any park that we've had so far in the contest. Let's zoom out real quick to actually get a cool view of this whole thing. This is an interesting map shape for one. We haven't really seen a long and narrow map so far. Obviously, there are map limit requirements for the contest, so this is really stretching it out and making it pretty narrow, but there's a lot of content to be seen in here. Obviously, here we have the Chateau Frontenac. There's a coaster around it that we'll look at soon. This gorgeous bridge, and then the little town here on the side. So why don't we start there with this town and take a look. We can see right away that the leaves are changing, and it's kind of that fall time here. We have the little festival here going on with the nice sign and everything. Some really nice architecture throughout. Big water tower here. These cruise boats going up and down the river. Just a very pleasant atmosphere in general. I gotta say, this I think is one of Amusement Parker's first major entries into a contest. I don't know, it might be the first, really. And man, he knocked it out of the park. Fantastic work. Super pleasant, great atmosphere throughout the whole thing. I really love this area with this kind of lowered wharf here with the dock and the boats on either side. These little huts and stalls here. You can see all the different little tables and things that are selling stuff. I love the detail there, for one. Suitable amount of little crunch detailing and everything, and just very pleasant. I like the landscape colors and everything throughout. Of course, we have to have our Starbucks here. You gotta have your Starbs. And you got some really, really great architecture. Just very detailed. I like the kind of Canadian, little row house sort of look here with the kind of taller architecture in general, but it just really looks nice here. Actually, I'm glad that they split this up from the hotel itself, because the hotel can still kind of dominate on its own side, but the architecture here is just really in a nice size scale in general. You got the handyman over here sweeping the leaves and everything, getting ready for the fall colors, which I think is very, very nice. Got our little stands throughout the entire village here, and just the pumpkins scattered around. Like, it's nice that it's themed, but it's not like overly themed, and I think that's really kind of nice in general. So you got our hockey logo here. You've got your fleur-de-lis over here. So very, cool little details. I love the artwork on the back of the buildings. And then we have our little tiny fairground here. I do like the idea not to try and stick a coaster in here, because usually with these little fairgrounds you might like want to stick a wacky worm in here or something, but in the game they just end up being so gigantic that it's kind of hard to really work with it sometimes. So we get this nice carousel with a good top on it. We've seen a lot of different ones in this contest, and I think this one works very nicely. And then we also have this nice little Ferris wheel as well. A couple of little booths here, and this great lookout over top of this fantastic just landscaping in general. I love the water sounds and everything. The soundtracks in this one are just very well done. Kind of this like nice relaxing atmosphere in general. But that rushing water with this giant waterfall here. Let's first look at the bridge, which is just really, really beautiful. We've got this great arch bridge. 4 arches over here with 2 kind of larger columns, and then we have the center element here that surprisingly just looks really, really nice. Like, we got these towers here that we've seen used on everything from like fire towers to the circle swings and all that kind of stuff in between, but it just looks very nice. And here's our train going across the Canadian Pacific Railways that we heard during the introduction. Very nice there. So down below, there's a lot to see. So we've got our little park ranger walking around, and this looks like maybe a ranger station here that you can look out over top of everything, see the water. Got this guy and his dog down here enjoying the atmosphere and the pier. Here's a zip liner on this side. If we spin around, you can see the zip line tower on this side. Super popular. I think these guys might be waiting a little while to do all that. We've got our cabins and some fire and music and everything. Of course, some pumpkins in here to reinforce that theme. This is, in my opinion, one of the better autumn themes pulled off in the game. I think just the variety of these large trees done in a very nice way. Got this guy here, little fly fisherman. This is a very cool way to do the fly fishing. I think that's very neat. Done well there. Down here, of course, we have Mama's maple syrup. So I'm guessing this was a Maria's edition. So it's a kind of a funny little thing here. It's kind of almost breaks up that super kind of pleasant atmosphere with this just like suddenly industry and a giant sign. But I think it's done in a tasteful way and looks fairly nice down here. I'm not sure how much the hotel probably appreciates it being there, but that's all right. So when you do come across this, you get these giant bear statues here, and then you have the chateau itself, which is gigantic. We're going to zoom out so you can actually see the whole thing. Scale like this, in my opinion, is very hard to pull off in the game, and in a way to make it look like pretty decent. And I think they did a very nice job. Like, yes, it's repetitive, but it's supposed to be. That's part of how the facade looks. So I think this is very, very nice. But let's zoom in here and pick up this coaster too. So we've got this interesting RMC coaster using the 3 across wooden trains. I don't know if it's intended to be an RMC or if it's intended to just be more of a classic wooden coaster just with the extra pieces involved. I kind of would lean towards that one, and I'm kind of hoping that might be the case because it feels to me more of a wooden coaster than an RMC perhaps, but it's got a pretty interesting layout for one. I lost it there for a second. Here we go. Giant drop off of the cliff and underneath the coaster or the bridge, and then up and into the brakes in a kind of almost walking pace. Actually, really nice layout. It's kind of non-traditional. Like you almost have this kind of first section that's a little bit more of a traditional out and back, and then you have this second half that's got some of these like flat, high lateral G-force corners, and then you spin around to this side, and you've got this like kind of interesting pergola thing that maybe isn't my favorite. I could probably do without, but has this really great drop here over top of the structure down into the valley, and then you've got this underneath of the arch on the bridge. I feel like there's always that debate, especially on New Element, about whether squeezing a coaster into a place that it wouldn't necessarily inherently belong is the right thing to do or not. It is Roller Coaster Tycoon after all, but we're also building kind of art pieces that are not anything close to that. I'm always a fan of seeing a coaster. I think in general I just love the movement. I love kind of seeing how it's integrated into the space. And for me, it's an easy suspension of disbelief to say, of course, this giant chateau that's super fancy would have this roller coaster right outside of it. You're not really going to see that, but in this world, sure, why not? I think it looks okay. So I am a fan of coasters in places where they maybe shouldn't necessarily be. So here's our station for the train, actually quite nice. Interesting move here, putting it up on these supports across. I'm not entirely sure the decision process behind it, but I actually kind of like it. It looks good. Get the nice, using what looks to be the mine ride track and sitting on top of that. So it looks pretty good. You get the peeps here that either have to go to the bathroom or are just super impatient. Love the 1893 and the welcome on this. We spin around, we got our nice classic jazz music going on. We've got this golf course, which I think is super pleasant. Kind of hints to a much larger whole of interesting things. Got our very fancy cars here and some fancy things that are going on. Almost looks like maybe a wedding or something, perhaps. And you can kind of see the way the courtyard goes back in here. I like the little flags and everything going through. I mean, we didn't really spend time on the station for the coaster either. This is cool with the arch right here. We got our little maintenance area with our one extra coaster car here on the back, getting some annuals, it looks like, and just a very kind of overly fancy kind of thing going on here. Got our guy on the scaffold here who's doing something to the brickwork. Hopefully nobody's staying in that room. I believe, and I can't quite remember, but I'm going to use some cutaway view here and see. We do actually have some cutaway here. We've got some pretty straightforward things, but you do actually see all of the rooms all the way down to the bottom, and we can also see here in the lobby, just a very kind of classy old lobby with love the grand piano here in the middle as well. Kind of would have been neat to see all of the other stuff, but it's kind of hard to do that when you're on these half diagonals and diagonals. Maybe it would have been neat to see the plaza built out in here in the middle, because I feel like that could be a super, I don't know, kind of cozy space with some really upper scale or upper class detailing and everything. But I think that could be really nice to see on all of that. But for me, what works the best out of this map is just the overall atmosphere of everything, and I kind of like this whole journey of this, like, you know, pleasant little town here, transitioning over to this beautiful waterfall with the great landscaping that carries through the rest of the map over to this side. Then you take over with the bridge, and that carries you straight on, you know, on this kind of axial approach right up to your hotel. You've got this great hotel entrance and everything. You get the coaster sort of nestled around it, and it just really connects the whole thing together really, really nicely. For a map that isn't super wide, like, I don't feel like I'm wanting more map. Like, obviously I would love to see this expanded and just kind of see the atmosphere continued out through, you know, more things to explore, but I feel like, given the map size limitations, this is just a very super pleasant park. So as such, I think this is probably one of my top 5 parks in the contest, I would think. This one did end up taking the victory, barely, over Maverick. I think this was definitely one of those, you know, do you prefer semi-realism and some great atmosphere over hard realism and also some very good atmosphere? It really was a toss-up for me. I did vote Maverick, but I could have very easily voted this one too. This is honestly one of the harder votes for me in the competition, I think. But very nice overall, and congratulations to the Lonely Hearts Club for this one. So that's it now. That is all of the round robin regular season play. We've gone through 5 rounds and 3 matches each, so done quite a few of the videos here, so thank you for watching so far. We are going to be back soon with the semifinals, and then the finals, which also includes a 5th place park and a 3rd place match. So there's actually 9 more videos still to come for head-to-head, and then that'll wrap us up for all of the reviews. So if you've enjoyed this so far, definitely consider hitting that like and following the channel so you get those notifications when I go up or when I post the new one. So definitely subscribe to that, and hopefully we will see you in the next one here as we move to the semi-finals. So until next time, thank you all very much for watching, and have a good one. Bye.